Let's tell the soldiers we're done here. I want to leave before nightfall.
We should also have a chat with that mercenary. Those flying creatures were quite useful, so it'd be wise to have him stick around.
Good point.
May I ask you something, Sir Wraith? If you're able to see souls, do you also see where they go when they die?
Oh yes. I call it the Valley of the Great Bling Bling. A place full of well-endowed maidens with flowers in their hair and where the rivers flow with honey.
You're joking.
Of course I am. If a soul dies, it's gone. There's no afterlife.
Oh, I see.
I hope you are happy, General.
May I ask what happened to your wife? To Kayawu's mother?
I do not want to talk about it. I am certain my son will tell you on your future journeys.
I still don't understand why you refuse to fight Jakku. Your son is right. Even if we lose, at least we tried.
I can see why you would say that, but trust me, our beliefs are not something we thought up overnight. I do not expect you to understand.
Well, leaving was his choice, not mine.
I know, and I saw this day coming. Either way, you should leave. If you really intend to stop Jakku, then time is your most precious resource. Ancestors guide your path, General. And remember that your steps leave more than footprints.
Outsider! Ihina told me how you saved her from the bandits. I can't thank you enough.
No need to thank me. I'm just glad she made it back to you.
Thank you for this chance, Outsider.
Yes, we will always be grateful. Ancestors guide your path.
It worked, huh? I told you my beast would do the trick. So, did you find whatever you came here for?
Answers. Yes.
Lovely. So, I've been thinking, do you happen to need a creature handler for that military unit of yours?
Weren't you planning to go back to Wolfgar?
Eventually, yes, but truth be told, that mission of yours has got me intrigued, and I'm pretty sure your unit could benefit from my skills, and also... Nah, never mind.
Also what?
Well, maybe that mission of yours is a good way to, you know, redeem myself.
Well, I don't see why not. As long as you follow my orders.
I will, as long as you don't ask me to eat puppies. My men will stay here for a while longer. I've already had a chat with the villagers. I think we could help each other. I'll be ready when you give the word.
And that's it. My people believe that once Jakku has been set into motion, nothing can be done to stop it. I intend to prove them wrong.
That is commendable. So, according to your father, Sheabded has chosen 4 corrupted to lead it into the world. Is that correct?
Yes.
And he, the Aliani, that is, believe that even stopping these corrupted cannot stop the prophecy from coming true.
Yes. You cannot stop the lightning when you hear the thunder.
I don't understand. If only a corrupted can open the gate, why wouldn't neutralizing all of them stop the prophecy?
It's hard to understand if you're not Aliani. I may be wrong, but it seems to me that you outsiders believe strongly in the idea of changing one's fate through actions. We Aliani believe that us Shaperkin are ultimately powerless. We're subject to patterns, forces beyond our understanding. Love, disease, birth, death. We have no control over these things. And the most dominant of those patterns is Jakku. Trying to resist Jakku is like trying to resist death. You can struggle and struggle, but ultimately you're subject to its nature. So the best you can do is to accept it.
What an inspirational way to view the world.
As I said, I intend to prove them wrong. You Northandians have proven twice that the omens of Jakku can be broken. You defeated Lacane and stopped the plague. In my opinion, that's also our best chance. We need to identify the remaining 3 corrupted and neutralize them. Make sure they can't serve Sheabded any longer.
And how do we identify them?
If I may, we already know one of them, don't we? The leader of those rogue dark elves, the woman with the mask?
Well, there's no way to be sure, but after what you've told me, yes, very likely so.
We will assume she is one of them for the time being. That leaves us with 2 more to find, and 3 more to neutralize. Very well. This is more than I had hoped for.
So, we need to look for other cults that worship Sheogdead.
I'm afraid it's not that simple. A corrupted might not even know he or she serves Sheogdead's purpose. With that masked woman and Rondar Lacane, it was obvious. It might not be for the other 2.
What are you saying?
I'm saying that, according to the scrolls, some corrupted don't even know they are. And that the ways in which they serve Jakku are diverse. Wars, famines, maybe even something as simple as being at the right place at the right time. It's an enigma.
That doesn't make it any easier. Even if all this about Jakku and Corrupted is true, how are we gonna find the other 2? Kaiawu said it himself. Even with the masked woman, we can't be certain.
And therein lies the problem.
Actually, I might know a way, but I need to give it some thought first.
Do that. I will think on the matter too. In the meantime, there is still work to be done before we can restore the mosaic. Let me know once you've looked into all the trails.
Yes, General?
Hey, just checking in. Wanted to see how you're doing.
Fine. Thank you.
Fine? That's it? If something's wrong, you can tell me.
No, it's not that. I never thought I'd see beyond the Howling Steppes. It's strange.
What do you mean?
I knew it would be different, but not this different. Like here in Greyfell, there are so many people crammed together. The walls feel like a basket collecting and trapping everything. And it's so loud. How does anyone stand it?
The walls make people feel safe. After the wars, who can blame them?
I guess. Although I don't know if I feel any safer with this many people breathing down my neck.
I imagine the Howling Steppes must be very different. What's it like living there?
Nothing like this.
That's extremely vague. You're avoiding the question.
I'm sorry. I don't mean to be rude. I'm not used to conversing with outsiders. It's hard to know what to say and what not to.
We're not that different from you, actually. Aside from the preference for walls.
Yes, I see your point. It's just that we're taught from an early age to only trust our own people. Outsiders are to be avoided.
Is this related to what your father said? That outsiders only bring suffering to the world?
Yes, although it's not personal. He means that outsiders haven't renounced violence the way the Aliani have.
So the Aliani are better than everyone else?
I didn't say that, but we're not driving the cart off the cliff, so to speak.
Were we the first outsiders you met?
No, others have come before. They all received my father's warm welcome.
What made us different?
You needed information about Sheogdead. And, to be honest, we needed the help. It was, as my people call it, a Velden trade. Fair.
In that case, I'm grateful you put your trust in me.
Well, the truth is, General, I don't know you. You seem to mean well, so far, but I'd be a fool to believe in words alone.
I hope you can see me as more than just an outsider or a general, Kaiawu. Maybe we could spend more time together.
Yes, I'd like that. Anyway, you must be busy. Let us speak again some other time.
What are you reading? A letter?
What? It's nothing.
All right, but if you need to talk, I'm here.
Well, actually, I could use a friendly ear. Sure you want to hear this, General? This won't be as fun as our last talk.
Yes, tell me.
Fair enough. Someone died. My former husband, Lauren.
I didn't even know you were married.
Well, I never told anyone. Lauren and I... that was 8 years ago. 2 years after I fled Finn and Mir, and 4 years before I met Tahar.
You were a vagabond before you joined Tahar, weren't you?
Yes, I was. A traveling healer.
Why did you flee Finan Mir? I meant to ask you, but I never got the chance.
Long story. Suffice it to say that I trusted the wrong people.
All right. I see. So, who was Lauren? How did you meet?
In the woods of Highmark. He was a forester. I had made camp in a clearing, but must have eaten something bad for dinner. Because when I woke up the next day, I had terrible stomach cramps. I tried to push on, but I couldn't even move without throwing up. So instead, I spent the whole day lying in my tent, puking my guts out. The problem was, my provisions were almost gone, and I was severely dehydrated.
And I guess Lauren found you?
Found me, took me to his village, and nursed me back to health. When I had fully recovered, he offered to let me stay, and that I did. For 2 years.
Just like that?
No, not just like that. But if I were to tell you the whole story, we'd still be sitting here by dawn. It simply felt right. I don't know how else to say it.
And you got married?
After a year, yes. You see, Lauren was a good man. One of these incredibly honest, genuine people who wear their hearts on their sleeves. Simply because they have nothing to hide. He was kind, caring, and beautiful. And though he knew he didn't have much to offer materially, he laid what he had at my feet. And all of that even though I wasn't even a good match. An exiled elf. A vagrant, a mage. There were plenty of other women he could have been with. But he wanted me. I still don't get it, to be honest.
And the villagers didn't have a problem with you being an elf and him being a human?
I would have thought so. But the people in Auchendale didn't, no. They actually respected me. Though Lauren probably played a big role in that. The people loved him.
You make it sound as though Lauren was perfect. Was he really?
Well, not entirely, of course. He was a little too complacent sometimes and always went out of his way to avoid an argument. If it hadn't been for that, he could have easily become the village mayor. He simply didn't want it, though. He didn't have the ambition, as far as dark secrets were concerned, though. He had none. He was just good. And that's it.
Did you love him?
Yeah, I did.
So, what happened between you?
Well, one day I woke up with a strange feeling. As though all of a sudden there was a huge leaden weight on my shoulders. Everything felt so alien, so wrong. Our bed, the flowers he had brought me the day before, everything. Even Lauren himself. I wanted to tell him, but for some reason, the mere thought of it turned my stomach. So I left. I wrote him a letter, packed my things, and I left.
How could you do that to him? Leaving without saying a word?
I don't know, Arif. I just don't know. But staying, it just wasn't an option. It would have smothered me, dramatic as that may sound. And please don't think this came easy for me. On the contrary, I spent the next few months doing nothing but crying. I know it doesn't make it any better, but that's how it was.
And you have absolutely no idea where that feeling came from?
No. I've thought about it a lot, but all I've come up with are guesses.
Such as?
I'd rather not go into detail. I'm sorry.
And that's the end of the story? You left and never went back?
Well, I did go back to Auchendale 3 years later. He was with a new woman, and she was expecting.
Must have felt strange.
It did at first, yeah. But ultimately, I'm glad that he was able to move on. He deserved happiness.
I see. And how did he die? Who wrote that letter?
A mercenary that I hired some weeks ago. I had been thinking of him a lot after Tahar's death, and wanted to make sure he was okay, which, as it turns out, he wasn't. He got bit by a rabid wolf while he was out in the woods.
This might be a stupid question, but
How do you feel?
Lost, I guess. I know Lauren probably loathed me for what I did, but up to this day I had always felt as though he was still there. And now he's gone. And I never even found the courage to explain why I left or to apologize. You remind me of him somehow. You know that? You're good. The world is filled with selfish fools, but you're not one of them.
What makes you think that?
I just do. You know, I've been with men and women since, but I always seem to cling to only the ones who don't love me. To the ones who do, like Lauren. I'm like poison. Good thing we're just friends, isn't it?
Is that all we are?
Oh, I don't know. I need some time now, okay? I'll be ready when duty calls.
Yes, General?
What do you think of the others?
Everyone is so experienced and well-traveled. You included. At times I feel quite small.
Everyone starts somewhere.
True. Though I feel I have a lot of catching up to do. Lady Elathiel offered to show me around Greyfell. I think she is worried I will be robbed.
Maybe she doesn't want you to get lost.
That's true too. Why does the Queen need so many towers?
So, who is Kaya Wu?
Me? Why do you want to know?
I find myself wondering about you. So I'd like to get to know you better.
Oh, I see. Okay. What would you like to know?
What was growing up on the steppes like?
Well, the Howling Steppes has its name for a reason. Between the storms that roll through and the constant search for food, it can be a pretty bleak place. That said, I don't know that I'd wish for anything else. I remember the feasts we'd have to honor a special occasion. The whole village devoted days to cooking just for one extravagant meal.
That sounds like a lot of fun. How are things normally?
For a child? Pretty boring.
Things must have been different for you, being the chieftain's son.
Maybe in some ways. We don't revere our leaders like your people do with your queen. People have great respect for my father, but it's the same as being a skilled tracker or an eagle-eyed gatherer.
Really? You're saying others didn't treat you differently, even though one day you'll take over as chieftain?
No, they have no reason to. If you prove yourself skilled and dedicated to the people, your word is respected as much as the wise women or chieftain. Why seek favor with one voice when you can have your own?
What about your father? He seems like an intimidating figure.
Oh yes, that's a different story. He's always held me to a higher standard. It was frustrating at times, but I could see there was a reason to his actions.
Are you close with anyone in your village?
Well, there's my father, and one of the wise women, Yalina, liked to bake these...
No, I mean close.
Oh, you mean like sexually? No, I'm not in a relationship with anyone. Why do you ask?
No reason, really. I just wanted to know if there was any competition.
Competition? No competition there. Can we speak of something else?
You mentioned your mother when we first met. May I ask what happened to her?
Oh, she joined the Ancestors several years ago. A sickness swept through the village.
That's terrible. I'm sorry.
Yeah, me too. It hurt for a long time. One day she was fine, and then a moon later, she was gone. I don't know about you, but to me, my parents were invincible. Realizing that someone who was a constant presence your whole life could just be gone. It took me a long time to be at peace with that.
I know exactly what you mean. You believe they will be there forever, even as you grow up and realize the world doesn't work that way.
Yeah, exactly. You know, my father would say I'm a lot like her.
How so?
She was never satisfied with what was on the surface. She challenged him to think beyond tradition for tradition's sake. My father would say she would gladly dig up the steps if it revealed Fiara's heart.
She sounds a lot different than most Aliani.
She was. She was good for my father that way. Anyway, that was her. Let's talk about something else.
That's all I wanted to know.
Sure.
I'd like to learn more about the Aliani.
Sure. I'd be happy to tell you more about my people.
How does your society work?
You mean the structure? Well, you know there's the chieftain. We also have the wise women, our elders. And then there's everyone else.
Why are there only wise women, no men?
It's an old tradition. From what I understand, in the early days of the tribe, only men were allowed to hunt. Not many men lived long enough to become elders.
So shouldn't the customs be updated if the original reason is no longer true?
I suppose it could, but some roots grasp so deep that they can't be dug up. I don't think the elder men would even agree to be wise men.
Are there other tribes like yours on the steppes?
No, just us. At least as far as we know. There have been times when our hunters had to venture farther out into the steppes, but they've never encountered anyone besides the occasional bandit.
That doesn't mean they don't exist.
True, but according to our histories as well, we are the only tribe.
What about the people who are banished from the tribe?
Well, as you said, they're banished, so they're no longer considered Aliani. Not really.
But they're born Aliani. Just because they're no longer part of the tribe doesn't make them foreign.
Well, think of it this way. Someone who's made outcast has broken one of our laws and has betrayed what made them Aliani.
But who defines what is Aliani? What if beliefs and laws change? Can they change?
They could, theoretically, but our laws haven't changed in generations. They do not bend like the steppes grass.
I see. Interesting. Thanks for the chat.
Of course. Listen for the storm.
General, is there anything I can help you with?
Has our dwarven ally arrived yet?
Not yet, but we have received word that she passed the gates of Kings 2 days ago. In other words, she will arrive soon. If you'd be willing to wait, I could arrange a conclave right after she arrives.
All right, I'll wait.
Good.
Your Majesty?
Rhaera Hellstone, rise.
Your Majesty, it's an honor. I'll keep it brief. High Hierophant Arrakis has enemies in Windhome too. The Blackstone Rebels, which I lead together with my brother Malik. We are planning a coup, and we're hoping for the Crown's support.
Wait, Blackstone Rebels? Did you borrow that name?
From the uprising against King Rorik 15 years ago. Aye. So you know about our history?
No, but one of the Circle Mages, Iskrim, someone close to him died during the rebellion.
Many good men and women died. We chose this name in their honor.
So, not all the dwarves in Windholm support Arrakis.
Of course not. His ideology is a current that threatens to drag under everyone who doesn't fit the ideal. And even among those who do, there are many who oppose it, as they should. Since this talk of granite suns is by far the, pardon my language, Your Majesty, most damned idiotic thing I've heard in years.
And just how did you and your brother get to lead a rebellion?
We both have our reasons. Suffice it to say that Arrakis spits on everything we hold dear. And also, we're not leaders. We're the faces of hundreds who refuse to stand by and watch as this sodding lunatic steers our homeland into chaos.
Very noble of you.
And you are?
Wraith Skadar. He is assisting us in another matter.
I see. Well, Wraith Skadar, I don't claim to be a saint. If you don't trust me, fine, but I'm all you're getting.
If we doubted your intentions, you would not be here.
Good to hear.
Interesting. So instead of engaging directly, you want to support these rebels. Is that it, Your Majesty?
Yes.
How do you know if we can trust them?
We do not. But once again, it is our best option. We've already pushed our luck by recapturing Dracot, and we cannot intervene directly without risking another war.
Nobody wants another war. Look, General, I understand your reservations. But trust me, if it were up to me, I'd be on a ship to Zoo by now. I'm doing this because I have to. And I have no intention of staying once this scumbag is back where he belongs. In chains, and in the darkest pit the Windhome dungeons have to offer.
All right. What role do you see the Wolfguard playing in this?
Well, that's simple. We need an experienced soldier to help us with an operation. A heist. Right now, we are many, but lack the coin to become a force to be reckoned with. We intend to change that by borrowing some money and high-quality weapons from Windhome's treasuries. If you help us see this through, we will use this money to build up an army strong enough to take care of Arrakis and reinstate the prince. Also, we will lend the crown the Blackstone Rebels' forces to help you on that mission of yours. If you want us, that is.
You know about our mission? About the God of Light?
I was briefed, yes.
Why would you risk the lives of you and your men for that?
Dust and stones. You're looking for the fault in everything, aren't you? First of all, it's simply our end of the bargain. You help the rebellion, we help your mission. Secondly, if this God of Light is half as gruesome and dangerous as the rumours about that fight in the Hall of Justice say, only an idiot would sit in our hands while it tries to eat our world. Don't you think?
Do you think King Rorik's son is fit to lead Windwall? To my knowledge, his father didn't enjoy the best reputation, did he?
Right. Not to mention the fact that he murdered the original Blackstone Rebels, whose name you borrowed.
That's true. But the prince is still a blank slate. It doesn't look like he takes after his father. And with the right guidance, we should be able to steer him in the right direction.
How do you plan on getting us into Windhome, though? Is there a side entrance?
Way better. Look.
Letter of passage. For Sverak Yor?
One of Eo's most renowned architects. Aye, whom we've taken hostage. Arrakis hired him to help with the construction of his statue.
What statue?
You don't know? Arrakis has ordered the construction of a giant statue of Nihalf made of pure moon silver. A monument to Windhome's greatness, apparently.
Huh. So that's the symbol that dwarf in the Windwall outskirts was talking about.
Arrakis wants an Empyrean architect to design this statue. Am I the only one who sees the irony in that?
No, he sees it too. Which is why the letter also contains strict orders not to question its bearer too much.
That's convenient.
A statue made of pure moon silver. That's madness.
Arrakis in a nutshell.
You kidnapped the architect?
Aye, but don't worry. We simply took him somewhere where he won't mess up our plan. He's well cared for and will be released once the coup has been seen through.
An unrelated question, but did you notice any cases of people disappearing in Windwall? Or its outskirts?
No. This is about the God of Light, right?
Yes.
I see. Well, no, nothing yet. Though now you mention it, there has been talk of strange dark elves patrolling the border. That might be anything, though. Frankly, at this point, Windhome's biggest problem is Arrakis. And I hope it stays that way for now.
But I'm not Sverak Yor. How does this letter help us?
Says who? You spent years in Imperia, and you even have a slight accent. Windhome folk aren't particularly cosmopolitan, so they won't know the difference. You take the letter, show it to the gate guards, and they'll let you pass. No questions asked. Then we meet up with my brother, discuss the plan, and see it through together.
Excellent. General, make all the necessary preparations. Even if the mission succeeds, it will take the rebels a while to set the coup in motion. In other words, the sooner we get this done with, the better.
Understood.
For 5 days, you ride under an overcast sky. One night, sitting by the campfire, Rera offers you and your companions a sip of brandy. She tells you about her life as a privateer, her return to Windwall, and about Arrakis' rise to power. The worst about people like him, she says, her eyes drift off, almost as though she is talking to herself, is that they claim to speak for all of us, but he doesn't. We'll make sure he understands that.
So, there's a part I haven't told you. While it's true that nobody will question that letter once we're inside, those bridge guards have been briefed. They know who they're expecting.
That's bad.
Not necessarily. They don't know what Sverak Yor looks like, but they know his reputation.
Which is?
That he is the most unlikable, self-entitled person to have ever walked the face of Io. In other words, You'll have to act the part and they'll let us through.
Oh.
Hold it right there. No gravel eaters past this point.
Servant, there are 2 gnomes obstructing my path. One short, one fat. Both ugly.
Just 2 insignificant guards, your most brightly beaming brilliance.
What was that?
The ugly gnome is still talking, servant. His foul breath is numbing my senses.
All right, that's it. Go!
Wait, are you from Imperia? I recognize that accent. Hello? Anybody in there?
His most delicately dazzling brilliance would like to be properly addressed when spoken to.
Need half balls. What?
Oh, your, most luminous brilliance. Hearken to my humble question. Who are you?
Look at that. The fat gnome is capable of speech. Servant, tell him who I am.
You are speaking to Zverak Yor, also known as the creator of marvels, the architect of wonders. We are here at the invitation of your leader, High Hierophant Arrakis. Here's our letter of passage.
I see. Well then, go on through, and forgive the inconvenience. We didn't know who we were talking to.
That much was evident. Come now, servant. Let us swiftly get many miles between us and these miscreants.
I can't believe that worked.
Neither can I.
Come, let's find Malik. He's expecting us. Hold it. That's Arrakis. Seems as if he's given another one of his speeches.
We might want to give it a listen. The more we learn about this man, the better.
Good point.
I say, no more! For centuries, those gravel eaters have kept us weak. Treaties, alliances, conclaves, all they did was try to put us in shackles. But no, of course that wasn't enough. They also took it upon themselves to poison our culture. And damn, how they succeeded. Look around, brothers. Look at what our once so proud nation has become. Dwarves mixing with surface folk, breeding offspring whose existence alone is an insult to our ancestors. Women, the goddesses of life, wielding axes, making laws when they should be ensuring the survival of our people. Dwarves who don't know which end of the axe to hold. We've become a joke, brothers. A disgrace. And do you know what I'm seeing? 5 years from now, I see these halls deserted. Nothing left but the wind, the rats, and a handful of fragile creatures whose only purpose is to mine ore for the rich surface men. I see crypts filled with the corpses of dwarves. Dwarves who did not die in battle, but from the degeneration the gravel eaters brought upon us. I see the end of a people whom Nihalf once chose to rule all the mountains of Io. But we won't take it. We won't let them poison our minds, take our pride, force us into servitude. We will show them our true face. And oh, brothers, they won't like it. No more treaties, no more bargains, no more outsiders within these sacred halls. Only the sons of granite, proud and strong, axes home, baring their teeth to anybody who dares to challenge us. Are you with me? Yeah! What are you, gravel eaters? I want to hear you shout it at the top of your lungs. Fill every corner of these sacred halls with your voices. Shout it like the proud men that I see before me. Gravel no longer. We are of granite. Are you with me? Yeah! Gravel no more. We are granite. Gravel no more. We are granite.
Impressive, isn't it? Regardless of how much I hate this guy, I have to hand it to him. He knows how to make a speech.
He's lying. Nobody is forcing the dwarves into servitude.
Tell that to the mob, though. Yeah.
What?
Arrakis may present himself as a saint, but I'm sure he has skeletons in his closet. We tried to dig up dirt on him before, but never found anything. If we get the chance to search inside the castle walls, well, that's a different story. In other words, we should keep an eye out for anything interesting once we're inside the fortress. I doubt it'll help convince those oafs that they're following the wrong shepherd, but it's worth a try.
Ah, just the kind of person I was looking for.
Excuse me?
You know how to fight, eh? More importantly, how to survive.
Yes.
Just what I thought. I have a proposal for you, then. One that'll make us both legends. You ever heard of Wyvern Fire?
Wyvern Fire? You mean the third hottest flame on Io?
Bingo. They say that everything forged by Wyvern Fire is 50 times as strong as its conventional counterpart. Well, maybe not 50 exactly, but a lot. You get the idea. Now, here's the thing. I actually got my hands on a Wyvern. And you know what? Its flame melted my whole damn forge. A mature Wyvern's fire is too hot to handle. But a hatchling, that'd be more manageable. You get me a Wyvern egg. I'll craft you Wyvern fire weapons, armor, the works. You'll be legendary. What do you say?
You have a deal.
Aye. Good on you. Come back when you have the egg.
What's in this for you?
I told you. This will make us both legends. The items I craft are of no use sitting around my workshop. It needs to be used, appreciated. Deeds must be done with them, stories told of them. The more renown is attached to your name, the more renown is attached to my name. And what greater achievement is there than to become a legend?
Where am I supposed to get a wyvern egg?
Well, I heard talk of a wyvern breeding ground out in the scorching desert. You could look there.
Isn't that dangerous?
I mean, I did ask if you're the surviving type.
I'll be going.
Aye. Be seeing you.
What's this?
Surfacer! Surfacer!
You wanted to speak to me?
Aye, my friend, I did. You're an outsider, huh? What a refreshing sight. The guards aren't letting many of you in these days. Allow me to introduce myself. My name's Gorag Rockrim, representative of the Historical Society. If you're feeling particularly philanthropic, I have a proposition for you.
I'm listening.
The Society has a keen interest in acquiring old moon silver artifacts. Our ancestors spread all across Viara, leaving pieces of history behind. We'd like to bring those pieces home. For every artifact you bring me, I will compensate you accordingly. How's that sound?
Why do you want these moon silver artifacts?
All this talk we've been having about traditions and culture. We see it as an opportunity. People are interested in our history now more than ever, and these artifacts are part of that legacy. We want to start a museum where all dwarves can view and appreciate our history. This collection would be part of that. Besides, you see that statue they're working on? If Arrakis gets his hand on those artifacts, he'll just melt them down like they're ingots. He has no appreciation for their true value.
I'd like to know more about your society.
Ah, yes, of course. We were founded with a generous patronage from the late King Rorik, hence our name. Our mission is to preserve and promote our history.
Who's funding your society now that the king is gone?
We have a few private donations, but it is a challenge. All this political unrest has also thrown the future of our society into doubt. That's why it is our hope that these moon silver artifacts will spur more interest in our efforts.
Is this somehow connected to this giant statue High Hierophant Arrakis is building?
What? Because these artifacts are made of moon silver? Good gracious, no. I'd rather cut off my own beard than let him melt these artifacts for his bloody statue. But that probably isn't a conversation we should be having here. Now, you were saying?
We'll keep an eye out for any artifacts. If I find anything, they're yours.
Thank you, Surfacer. Ní help give you luck on your search.
Sir, could I have a minute of your time?
What do you need?
You look like a worldly person. A bold adventurer, even. Not many of those around here these days. Anyway, I've decided to leave this grim place and seek my luck on the road. So I was thinking, could you maybe test my adventuring knowledge and see if I'm up to the challenge?
I'm a soldier, not an adventurer. I wouldn't even know where to start.
But you've traveled the world. You've seen what's out there. Just see if I could theoretically manage situations you get yourself in while traveling.
Why are you so eager to risk your life like this? I promise you, life on the road isn't nearly as glamorous as the folk tales make it out to be.
However it is, it's better than staying in Windholm. I don't know if you've noticed, but this city isn't currently a friendly place for dwarves like me.
She's right.
It looks like I have little choice in the matter. Just remember, passing my test does not guarantee your survival. Even with all the knowledge in the world, what you're choosing is a very dangerous life. The road is treacherous, and you need to always keep that in mind. Trust no one but yourself.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
All right, let me think. What do you expect from an adventurer's life?
I'm not stupid. I know I'm not going to be helping dashing princes or finding ancient treasures. I just want to change people's lives for the better. Doesn't really matter if it's dealing with some bandits, killing a pack of rabid wolves, or cleaning horse manure for a crippled farmer. I just want to help.
I won't lie, that's a very impressive answer.
Thank you.
However, compassion is exactly what's going to get you killed. People can use it against you if you're not careful.
Don't you worry. Living in Windholm has prepared me for that. You have no idea how many times some imbecile tried to manipulate me.
Well, just be careful. Some people are way better at it than Sons of Granite.
I will, I promise.
All right. A group of bandits surrounds you. What do?
I talk to them. Ascertain what they're after. If it's greed, maybe I can convince them that I'm more valuable to them alive. If it's desperation, I talk to them. No one just chooses this line of work, and most people have reservations about it. And if all else fails, I kick them in the royal jewels and run, of course.
Wow.
What?
I was expecting you to say something along the lines of, I'll teach them a lesson, no one messes with me. But I have to say, your answer was surprisingly reasonable. Not what I would expect from someone so young.
I told you, I'm not trying to be the new Tahar. I know what I'm getting into.
Very well. I have to go now.
Oh, already? So what do you think? Am I ready?
No one is ready for the life you're choosing. I recommend settling down somewhere quiet, away from this mess.
But...
Having said that, you seem to be committed to helping people, and the people of Io need help. Just ask yourself, am I ready to risk my life for people that may not even appreciate my efforts? If the answer is yes, then you have my blessing.
It's not impulsive, I promise. I know what I'm risking.
Then all there is left for me to do is wish you luck.
Thank you for being so kind, General. Good luck to you too.